So very good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you. So students, from today we are going to start a revision series of CA Intermediate GST. Yes, we are going to complete the whole scenario of GST on our YouTube lectures. So let's start it. So the most important question which might be revolving in your mind is that which material I am using. So I am using the material of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. You all can download the material from the institute website, or I will also share the link of this material in the description box. Okay, so let's start it. First of all, the most important question here is that why government is levying taxes, that what is the need that government is levying taxes. So you all notice now that in our surrounding there might be a government school, a government hospital, a government road. Yes, the most important example here is a government road. What does it mean? Is the road outside your house is the private road? It means you constructed that road, you pay for that road? No. So it is a road that is a public road. Now what government is doing, that they are collecting the taxes from you, and ultimately they are spending those taxes, because the taxes which we pay to the government becomes the revenue for that government, and government ultimately automatically spending it on us, on the public expenditures, like for the vaccinations, for the government schools and many other facilities. Next important part here is, so students, first of all, in a complete chapter number 1, the very important part is that how many kind of taxes are there in India. So there are two kind of taxes in India. The very first is direct tax and the second is indirect tax. Now why the name is named as direct tax and indirect tax? What is the reason behind that? So let's understand it. First of all, direct tax implies that in this particular tax the incidence and the impact is on the same person. Incidence and impact is on the same person. Yes, incidence and impact are on the same person. It means, suppose there is an actor, suppose we are talking about Mr. Chintamani. Yes, Mr. Chintamani. Now Chintamani is earning, for example, Chintamani is earning rupees 7.5 lakhs. So he has to pay the income tax on his income. Now he is going to pay the income tax from his own pocket. It means the impact and incidence are both on the Chintamani only, not on any other person. It means Chintamani is not going somewhere and said, oh Mr. Dholak, please give me that money because I have to pay tax. So you are required to give me money because you are giving me this income only. No. If Chintamani is earning income, so Chintamani is going to pay the tax by himself only. Okay, so that's why it is a direct tax. It means the person who is going to pay the tax, burden will be bear by the same person. But in the case of indirect tax, students, unlike the direct tax, in the case of indirect tax, incidence and impact are on the different person. Yes, you heard it very right. Incidence and impact are totally on the different persons. Now how it is going to be made that incidence is on the different person and impact is on the another person? So let's understand it. So suppose students, you are going to purchase a mobile phone in a shop. Now this is a shopkeeper. Shopkeeper is going to say you, hey, your mobile is of rupees 27,000 and suppose the GST rate is 10%. So you have to pay to the shopkeeper rupees 27,000 plus 10% of 27,000 as GST, which is known as 2,700. So the total amount you are going to pay is 29,700. 27,000 plus 2,700. Then this shopkeeper will go to the government, or will go on the government website, that is on the GST website, and pay this amount to the government. So ultimately this person becomes a taxpayer, but the burden of this tax bears on your pocket only, because you have paid the amount of 2,700, which ultimately that shopkeeper pays to the government. So because impact and incidence are totally on the another person, so that's why it is known as indirect taxes. I hope now there is no confusion between the direct taxes and the indirect taxes. Okay, and yes, one more important news is, those students who want to join the CA Intermediate batch in the complete 100% English language, or even in the Hindi and English language, that is in the mixture of Hindi and English language. So our batches for the 2023 attempt is going to start from October mid. Okay, and you will get the link. You will get the contact. You will get my contact. You will get my contact number in the description below. Okay, so you can contact me and ask about the details. Now, the next thing is, we have understand that what is the meaning of direct taxes and indirect taxes. Now, let's start from indirect taxes only. What are the features of indirect taxes? Let's understand it. Okay, as I already told you, this is a revisionary series, so I am keeping my speed little bit high. I hope all will be you all are able to understand it. If any student is not able to understand it, please comment in the section below so that we can improve it in our next video. Okay. Yes, so these are the features of the indirect taxes. Yes, one more important thing. How many kind of direct taxes are there in India and how many kind of indirect taxes are there in India? So student, basically in the case of direct taxes, only a income tax is now prevailing in India. Earlier there was a wealth tax, but now wealth tax have been abolished very earlier, very years ago, okay, many years ago. So now there is only one kind of direct tax, that is an income tax. Okay. And if any other student is watching these series for their CMA Intermediate examination or for CS Executive examination, so yes, for sure you can watch it, because ultimately the law is same. Okay, yes. Now, how many kind of indirect taxes are there? So there are two kind of indirect taxes. The very first is GST, which is known as goods and service tax, which we are going to cover in this series, that is the GST series. And the second is custom duty. Custom duty, you are going to study the custom duty, which is very interesting in the CA final examinations. Okay, so we will cover it in CA final. Now, let's start with the features of indirect taxes. You will be surprised to know that this indirect taxes even contribute more than 50% of the total taxes revenue of central and state government. Yes, so it means if central government is earning, I am taking a very little amount for the example. Suppose if central government is earning rupees 1 lakh as the total taxes, it means the combination of direct tax as well as indirect taxes. So from this 1 lakh, more than 50%, that is more than 50,000 is arising from indirect taxes. Now, what is the reason that more than 50% is arising from the indirect taxes? Because income tax, each and every person is not paying income tax. You and me might be not paying the income tax. You as a student is not paying the income tax. But even you as a student, when you go to the market, you pay the GST, which shopkeeper pays to the government. It means each and everyone is paying the GST. That's why it is very important source of revenue for the government. Second is, as the name is, tax on commodities and service. So yes, on each, when we supply commodities or any kind of services, so indirect taxes shall levy. Okay. Now students, one more important thing. What is that, ma'am? So that thing is, whenever you are going to write if this question comes into examination, that write about the features of indirect taxes, most of you are going to write. It is an important source of revenue because we are paying the GST to the government and all. But student, they are not asking you the features of GST. They are asking you the features of indirect taxes. It means GST and custom both. So always mention whatever asked in the question. Okay, so you are required to write features of indirect taxes, not the feature of GST. Okay, so please consider these points, as these points for sure going to give us marks. Next is shifting of burden. Now we all know that how indirect taxes are going to shift the burden. For example, if I am going to the shopkeeper to purchase a mobile, ultimately burden is on my pocket. At 2,700 I have paid to the shopkeeper, but then shopkeeper pays it to the government. So there is a shifting of burden. That's why incidence and impact are on the different person. Same is going to be in the custom, which we are going to study in the CA final. Okay. No perception of direct pinch. Now yes, if any student is watching these series for the CMA Intermediate examination, so for CMA Intermediate examination, a separate series will also come, which will be in the language of Hindi and English, mixture of Hindi and English. Second thing is that in the CMA Intermediate, custom is also a very important part of your syllabus. Okay, so we will cover in that series revision of custom also. Yes. Next is no perception of direct pinch. What does it mean that there is no perception of direct pinch? So it means, suppose students, you are going to feel it. You have purchased a chocolate of rupees 10. Now On the packet, it is mentioned in a very tiny language, that in a very tiny font, including of GST, inclusive of GST. Is it written? Yes. But we never came to him and complained, do you know that the shopkeeper has charged GST from us because it is written that ₹10 inclusive of GST. No, because there is no direct pinch. Shopkeeper do not directly tells to us, Mr. Chintamani, you are going to purchase a chocolate. Chocolate is of ₹10. The chocolate is of ₹9 and ₹1 is for GST. Let's just pay it. No, they simply put the complete amount. That's why there is no direct pinch of this text. Okay. Now the next point is inflationary. How it is going to be inflationary? So students, it is going to be inflationary because, as I said you, the rate of chocolate is ₹9 plus that ₹1 is for the GST. That's why this GST is going to be implied on each and every commodity, on maximum commodities and services. That's why they inflate the price of that commodity and service. So from the date indirect taxes have come into purview, the rates are going to be inflationary view. Okay. Next is wider tax base. So yes, the wider tax base because majority of the product or services are subject to indirect taxes. Okay, but if each and every person is not going to pay the direct taxes. Next, promote social welfare. But now how it is going to promote social welfare? So student, what they actually do, what the government actually do is that they impose higher taxes on the consumption of those products which are harmful for him. For example, tobacco products and all. So the products which are sin products, which are considered as sin products or taboo, the government has imposed higher taxes. Now, due to higher taxes, prices have gone high and not each and every person is going to pay the high rate. Next is regressive in nature. Now, how it is regressive in nature? So actually, the basic difference between the direct taxes and the indirect taxes is direct taxes are progressive in nature, but the indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Now, how direct taxes are progressive and IDT is regressive? Let's understand it. I'm going to explain it with the help of an example. I'm again saying, as I said, this is a revisionary video, so I'm keeping my speech little bit high. So if you like this video, please like it, comment on the video and share it with your friends too, and yes, subscribe my channel so that you will get more and more of such videos. Okay, now how the direct tax is going to be progressive and IDT, that is indirect tax, is going to be regressive. In the direct taxes, if there are two persons, a person with an income of ₹2.5 lakhs and a person with an income of ₹7.5 lakhs. So this person, it means a person with higher income is going to pay the higher taxes, because in direct taxes we read that there is a slab rate. So a person with higher income is going to pay the higher taxes. But in the case of indirect taxes, suppose if I am going to a shop and Mr. Mukesh Ambani is coming to that shop, we both are purchasing 2 chocolates. One is me and second is Mr. Mukesh Ambani, respected Mukesh Ambani ji. So in both our cases, even I am going to pay ₹1 for that ₹10 chocolate, and even Mr. Mukesh Ambani is going to pay the same rate. Okay, so that's why it is regressive in nature, not the progressive in nature. Okay, now the next point is, and the one basic difference, ma'am, we know the progressive means that is on the increasing trend, regressive means it is on the decreasing trend. Now how it going to become? Because student, due to this, even the rich man, poor man and the middleman, all are going to pay the same rate of taxes. Now that's why the income disparities, their income difference is going to increase so much for this. That is why it is regressive in nature. Okay, now how the GST comes into India, let's understand its genesis. Ma'am, how it comes to India? On 1st July 2017, India adopts the GST. Do you really think that on 1st July 2017 India has launched the GST? It means on 30th June 2017 a minister saw a dream and they said, okay, let's implement GST from tomorrow. It is not going to actually happen. Do you know, it actually talks, the talks of the GST have come into purview in the year 2000. It means approximately 17 years. Approximately, government takes 17 years to implement this system. Actually what happened is, that in the year 2000, the Prime Minister of the year 2000 introduced the concept of GST, and they said that we are going to set up a committee which will overlook all the functions of the GST about its implementation. In that case, now after 2000, in 2006 budget, when the budget of year 2006 and 2007 was introduced, they said that we are going to implement GST from the year 2010. But in 2010, nothing is done about the GST because there were many deadlines which were missing due to many reasons. Then in the year 2014, when the NDA, in the year 2014, what happens is when the BJP came, the Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha, and they said now we are going to pass this bill, and we know that whenever a bill passes into the Lok Sabha, it becomes an act after the assent of the after the signature of the president, that is after the assent of the President of India. Then in year 2016, this bill becomes the act, that is Constitution 101st Amendment Act. Now you may get the MCQ on this part, that what was the which was the Amendment Act for the GST. So it was Constitution 101st Amendment Act 2016. Okay. Okay. Then what happened? Then in the September 2016, there was the first GST Council meeting because they formed a GST Council. Then in March 2017, GST Council recommended that there should be several kind of taxes like CGST, SGST, which we are going to cover in the later chapter. Then in April 2017, the CGST Act, SGST Act, UTGST and Compensation Cess Act was passed. Then in the May 2017, they formed the rules and regulations, and then on the 30th June 2017, all states passed the SGST Act that we are going to implement the GST, but except Jammu and Kashmir. So ma'am, but we said that GST implements in whole of India including Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, because Jammu and Kashmir passed this bill on 8th July 2017. Okay, so on 1st July 2017, GST launched. This journey is continuing, which we are seeing, which we have evidence of this journey also. Okay, so now the next thing is, what is actually the concept of GST? Now let's understand it. First of all, GST is a value added tax. Now why it is a value added tax? Because students, it is levied on the manufacture or sale of goods and provision of services. Let's understand this complete concept, its advantages, its features, its deficiencies, all with the help of an example. Okay, so are you ready to do that example? Yes. Okay, let's start it. So in my example, there are three parts. First of all, it is manufacturer. Those who want to make this diagram those who want to write this example, you can for sure write this example. Okay, so here is a manufacturer, a wholesaler and a retailer. Now manufacturer is selling a product of ₹100 to wholesaler with a GST of 10%. It means wholesaler is going to pay to the manufacturer total of 110 rupees. Yes, in this 110, how much GST portion is levied? GST is equals to ₹10. Okay, now this wholesaler is going to sell this product to the retailer, but are you serious that if a wholesaler is purchasing a product for ₹100, ma'am, but the wholesaler is purchasing a product for ₹110? No, because the ₹10 amount, ultimately now you will see that wholesaler will get it back. Okay, in what way? In the way of ITC. We will see it. Okay, now the wholesaler is going to sell this product to the retailer, but he said that I will for sure add my profit margin on this. So he add ₹20 as a profit margin. So the product price is 120 plus he will for sure charge GST on that product. Suppose of 10% again. So this will be 132 rupees, but in this part 12 rupees is for the GST now. Now retailer will sell this to the customer. Okay, students, now retailer is saying that I will sell this product in the for the amount of ₹140. He will charge 10% GST. Yes. So here the complete price is 140 plus 14 rupees, which is 154 rupees. Okay. So in this part, retailer is charging GST of ₹14. Trust me, if you understand the complete example, you are going to cover so many concepts, like concept of GST, features of GST, advantages of GST and all. Okay, so let's do this. Now students, government is coming and saying, Mr. Manufacturer, you have charged GST of rupees 10 which you are required to pay to us. Okay, so manufacturer is saying, okay, no problem, you can take this. So he has paid GST of rupees 10. He has paid GST of rupees 10 to the government. Then government goes to the wholesaler and say, you have charged rupees 12 from the retailer, just pay it to us. But now listen what the wholesaler is saying to the government. Wholesaler is saying, sir, just listen me. I have for sure charged rupees 12 as GST from the customer, but I have paid rupees 10 to the manufacturer. It means now I have a rupees 10 as ITC, input tax credit. It means whatever the amount we have paid as GST to our seller, which from which we have purchased the product, it is our ITC, that is input tax credit. So he said, I will take the credit of this input tax and now I am going to pay you rupees 2 as GST. Again, that government goes to the retailer and say, retailer, you have charged rupees 14, pay it to us. Again, similarly, retailer is saying rupees 14, but I have paid rupees 12 as GST to the wholesaler. So it means I have ITC of rupees 12. So I will pay you only and only how many rupees? Rupees 2. Okay. So I hope you understand the scenario. Now what is actually happening is, so student, in this particular path, this is a first chain supplier, so he does not have any ITC. He charged rupees 10 as GST. But in the case of second chain supplier, wholesaler has paid only and only rupees 2 as GST. You are evident to that fact? Yes, ma'am. But now how it is going to happen? Let's understand it. So student, what actually happened is that in this particular case, he has taken the credit of ITC. Now this person has charged rupees 12 as GST. Now why ma'am he charged only rupees 12 as GST? Because he has a price of rupees 120. It means this person has increased the price by rupees 20. So ultimately 20 multiplied by 10% as GST, he has paid to the government only rupees 2. That's why it is known as value added taxes, because automatically, ultimately, in the case of this GST, the person is going to pay only the taxes on the value added. Similarly, in this case, this person has a value addition of rupees 20, and ultimately he has only paid the tax of rupees 2 to the government. So it is a very clear, evident fact that GST is a value added taxes. Second, students, have we done anywhere that we have paid that GST to the government, that GST to the retailer? So let's just take the ITC. No, because we are the customer, so we do not have any. We are not going to charge GST from anywhere, and so we can't take the credit of the ITC. It means ultimately the final customer has to bear the burden of the GST. Okay, I hope you understand this fact. So the very first case here is that GST is a value added taxes. Second is GST is a continuous chain of tax credits. Ma'am, how? Because even the wholesaler and the retailer are saying that we have paid the taxes to our purchase, to our seller, so we are taking the credit of that part. That's why it is a continuous chain of tax credits. Third, I have already explained you that it is a burden which is borne by the final consumer. Okay, there is no cascading of taxes. Ma'am, now what is the meaning of no cascading of taxes? It means there is no double taxation. On each and every stage, we are taking the credits of the taxes which we have already paid. So there is no cascading of taxes in the GST. Okay, now the next is, this example is based on our example only, so you can done it very easily. What is the need for GST in India? Before starting it, I would like to ask you, what is the need for your new mobile in your hands? Ma'am, because our old mobile phones have become obsolete. So it has so many limitations, it has so many deficiencies. So similarly, need for GST in India is because in the previous indirect taxation regime, there are so many deficiencies. Okay. Now student, what are the deficiencies? We have already covered it. There was cascading of taxes, because what I have told you in our regular class, because in that case there was double taxation. Okay, so all these were the deficiencies. I think there is no need to repeat it again. In our revisionary video you have already done it, but just do one thing, in the revisionary session do it from here, so that you will get to know about each and everything. Okay, let me done it for you. There is non-inclusion of several local levies in state VAT such as the luxury tax. So there are multiple kind of taxes in the previous indirect taxation regime, but now there is only one kind of tax, that is GST, goods and service tax. Second, there was cascading of taxes because CST and VAT are not creditable, they are not VATable, they are not adjustable with each other. Okay, there is no SENVAT after the manufacturing state. Yes, how? Because central excise duty was not set up from any other taxes. There was no integration of VAT and service tax. That's why in the case of restaurant services in the previous taxation regime, we have to pay VAT as we consume food, they are goods. Second, we have to pay service tax also because we are taking their services. There was double taxation of a transaction. So for example, if there is a software, so on the supply of software there was VAT as well as service tax. Yes. Okay, so all these deficiencies have been removed in the GST. Now the very important question which have even asked in the CA final examination, which kind of framework is in India as GST for GST? So it is a dual GST framework. Now what do you mean by dual GST framework? So my dear students, dual GST framework means at the similar time, at the simultaneously time, central government as well as state government both are imposing taxes as CGST and SGST. Okay, so in this case, what is going to happen? There is a dual GST model because India has adopted a dual GST model in view of the federal structure of the country. Consequently, what is going to happen? That the state as well as the center, they are simultaneously levy GST on the taxable supply of goods and services. Okay. Now, the next part is that what is the meaning of CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST. So students, in the case, there are two kind of supplies. How many kind of supplies are there, ma'am? There are two kind of supplies. What? First of all, there is an interstate supply. Interstate supply means where location of supplier and place of supply are in different states. Second, intrastate supply, where location of supplier and place of supply are in same states or in same union territory. So in the case of interstate supply, IGST shall be levied, integrated goods and service tax. In the case of intrastate supply, CGST plus SGST or UTGST shall be levied. Yes. Okay. Now ma'am, when UTGST shall be levied and when SGST shall be levied, so we know that there are two kinds of union territories. First of all, union territory with state legislature with legislation and union territories without legislation. So I have already told you in the regular class, union territories which are having their own legislatures, we are giving them a position of state for a GST purpose. So we are going to levy SGST on those kind of transactions which are going to place in that union territory. But union territories which are do not having their own legislation, in that case UTGST shall be levied with CGST for sure. Okay. So now let's do the second part here. Okay. So next is on the page number 1.14, please come. What is the legislative framework and all? So student, what are the classification of goods and services? In the case of classification of goods and services, goods are classified on the basis of HSN, that is harmonized system of nomenclature, and services are classified on the basis of service codes. Okay. Yes, that is service codes which is known as tariff. Now, these all points, that is registration, composition scheme, exemption, seamless flow of credit. Ma'am, are we going to do it from here? So if you are taking my advice or my suggestion, do not do it from here, because we have a proper chapters on these points. If we are going to do it from here now, we will get confused only. Okay, so let's just skip this part for now. We will do it in their respective chapters. Yes, they have the complete chapter on their own. Okay, now the next part is yes, chapter 1 is going to over very soon. Next is GST common portal. So what do you mean by GST common portal? So student, basically all the works of the GST except 1 and 2, I will tell you which 1 and 2 works. All the GST works are done on this GST common portal. What is that GST common portal? So that GST common portal is actually www.gst.gov.in. Okay, yes, IN stands for India, GOV stands for government, that it is the Indian government website. Now student, as it is specified that it is common portal. Why it is known as common portal? Because even we, even government, even bankers, even tax authorities, all the persons all the persons are using this GST common portal only. Okay, so if we are applying for the GST registration, we are using this portal. If officer is granting us the GST registration, they are using the same portal. If banks are doing something work for the GST, they are using the same portal. Government is even using the same portal. That's why it is known as GST common portal. Okay, now, so students, now the next part is, ma'am, is there any work which has not done on the GST portal? So yes, there is a work which is known as e-way bill. Whenever, I have told you in the class also, whenever we have to create an e-way bill, so this common portal is not going to work for us. We have to go to the next portal, which is www.eWaybill.gst, www.ewaybillgst.gov.in. Okay, which is managed by the NICT. Yes. Next is, who are GSPs and ASPs. So students, we will do one thing. Now, this GSP and ASP and compensation cess and the GST that on which supplier GST is not going to be levied for sure. For now, we will discuss it in our second lecture. Okay, ma'am, when second lecture is going to happen? So students, today I am going to upload it today, and you will get the second lecture, that is of day 2 lecture, tomorrow. Okay, so if you have not liked the class yet, if you have not liked the video yet, please like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to join the classes in English language or even in Hindi language, so you can contact us on the number given in the description below. Okay, and yes, install our app for more and more contents which are totally free of all my students. Thank you and have a nice day.